I used to think my son's imaginary friend was cute. Now I'm not so sure. My son Liam is 6 years old. He's always been a very imaginative kid. Loves drawing, building things with blocks, making up stories about superheroes and monsters. About 4 months ago, he started talking about a new friend. At first it seemed completely normal. One evening during dinner he said, "Dad, can Jack come over tomorrow?" I asked him who Jack was, and he looked at me like it was obvious. "My friend," he said. I assumed it was a kid from school. But the next day when I asked his teacher if there was a Jack in his class, she said there was. When I asked Liam about it later, he laughed and said, "Jack doesn't go to my school." That's when I realized Jack was imaginary. Honestly, I wasn't worried. Lots of kids have imaginary friends. I even remember having one when I was little. But Liam took it further than I expected. He talked to Jack constantly. When we went to the park, he would swing next to an empty swing and say things like, "Jack, push me higher." When we watched cartoons, he would laugh and turn to the empty couch beside him and say, "Did you see that, Jack?" At bedtime, he insisted I leave space on the bed for him. "Jack sleeps here," he told me. It was a little strange but still harmless. Until one night. I woke up around 2 a.m. because I heard Liam talking in his room. At first I thought he was just dreaming. But when I opened the door slightly, I could hear him clearly. He was having a conversation. Pausing. Listening. Then answering. Like someone was actually there. "Jack, you can't take that," he whispered. Then he laughed. "You always say that." A chill went down my spine, but I convinced myself kids just have vivid imaginations. The next morning I asked him about it. He just shrugged and said, "Jack comes at night sometimes." That sentence stuck with me. A few days later something happened that made things feel different. I was cleaning Liam's room when I noticed a drawing on his desk. It was a picture of him and another boy standing next to each other. Above the second boy, Liam had written the name Jack. But what caught my attention was something else. The boy in the drawing wasn't smiling. He had dark scribbles for eyes. And behind them, Liam had drawn our house. When I asked him about it, he said something that made my stomach drop. "That's where Jack used to live." I asked him what he meant. He looked at me like I was the one being strange. "He lived here before us," Liam said. I laughed nervously and asked how he knew that. And Liam answered in the calmest voice possible. "Because he told me." I tried to brush it off again. Kids say weird things all the time. But later that evening, while we were having dinner, Liam suddenly looked toward the hallway. He waved. Then he said, "Jack says hi." I asked him where Jack was. And Liam pointed straight at the empty hallway. Then he said something I still can't explain. He said, "You used to see him too, but you forgot." Now I can't stop thinking about something. When I was about Liam's age, I also had an imaginary friend. And his name was Jack.